Thursday. I am Tiana Michelle, serial entrepreneur, empowerment coach, all the things, child, all the things. I'm not going to be before you long. I wanted to come on here really quickly and tell you that it is time to set yourself free. Here's the thing, the reason why many things don't work out is because people are looking for perfection. Too many people are looking for perfection that does not exist. Um, and let's be real. Let's be honest. We always beat ourselves up when we're not doing something quote unquote perfectly by the world standards. But when we look at the world, nothing in the world is perfect. No person is perfect. No relationship is perfect. No, nothing. There's nothing that is perfect. Um, People will put on a facade like everything is fine, one, or people will have to put in work. In order for something to work, you have to put in work to make that thing work. And a lot of people don't even realize that when you say this is goals, because there's a lot of that going on. Life, people have these life standards about what is goals, where they live, what they drive, all of these materialistic things, not realizing that a lot of the people that post these stuff, they be whole struggling to pay these notes, struggling to live in these mansions, struggling to keep up because they want to look like everything is perfect, and it's not. I'm going to start off talking about where these ideas come from. When we are children, this is when it starts. When we're think about a child that's like sitting in a class and that child gets called on to read a paragraph or something, and then that child might be stuttering over their words, or they're having a hard time trying to figure out what the word is, and so they're reading slowly in comparison to maybe everybody else. Now, after that, I have seen, and I'm going to tell you this, I have seen where the teacher will not call on a child because the child is struggling to read out loud. So now that child goes and internalizes that there's something wrong with them because they didn't read that paragraph out loud. Hold on, I'm getting somewhere. So then the other thing is the teacher will never call on the child again. And even though that child could just be struggling with that, that's a learning opportunity for the teacher to be like, oh, let me give you a little bit more work. Let me do a little bit more work, or let me find out where you are so that I can help you. Now, the other part is when you're in school and you are with your peers and you're told to be, get good grades, be successful, and people are making you think, teachers, parents, whoever, your peers, making you think that there's something wrong with you when you're not getting good grades, not realizing that it is possible that you can learn differently from other people. And this is something that I have witnessed in education, that a lot of times teachers don't even take the time to understand that children are learning differently. Now, the thing is, when the time is not taken, that child will internalize that there's something wrong with them, saying that they're not perfect, right? But with a little patience and support from their teacher, their family, and peers, and practice, that child could be an amazing reader, an amazing student, be an amazing version of themselves that they may not even, know that they could be. How about when the same child does not graduate from high school, right? Let's just say they went to go get their GED and they were told, oh, because we all, the ones who did graduate high school, when people did not graduate, they stayed behind and did an extra year. It was shunned. There was a stigma attached to it. If somebody had to go get their GED, it was something wrong. And people come up with this whole GED people. But there are a lot of wealthy people who did not go to college, who did not earn high school diplomas. They got GEDs. Some did not even go to school. Like, They have sixth grade education. Do your research. But it is a lot of wealthy people who put plans in place in order to succeed, in order to thrive. So these same people, when we are children, this is how this mindset goes. These are the things that we're taught, that perfectionism becomes something that we try to strive to. Be the perfect student, be the perfect child, daughter, be the perfect whoever, and it does not exist. Then here's the thing, that GED student compares themselves to people that went to college because it was such a success to be going to college, right? And you're supposed to be able to do all of these amazing things and be so successful in life. But if we are all being honest, the ones of us who did go to college, when we got out of college, we had the same struggle as those who graduated from high school. We were getting the same types of jobs because we didn't have any experience when we came out, and we had to work our way up the same way. So we learned that as an adult, that those ideas and those standards were not accurate. But think about the toll that it took on a lot of students, a lot of individuals, just with these things that I'm talking about. That whole perfection, that idea to strive to perfection, that does not exist. It's not even a real concept. So, and the reality is, no one who did not go to school or did go to school is at an advantage or a bigger disadvantage because they decided not to do something. Most college graduates was on the same rat race as the ones that did not go to college. So what the difference is in those ones who are successful today is because they set goals and they actually executed on those goals. It's not necessarily that they just got so much a better education, because you have people that got 50,000 degrees. I know some that's got multiple master's degrees and are, one, deemed overqualified, so people would not hire them, and two, they on the same rat race as somebody who did not go to college. So in reality, that stuff does not matter. There's no perfect anything, no perfect plan, no perfect nothing. Nothing is perfect. So the other part is hello. That is not accurate. Yes, I see your question. We will have a conversation because it's not accurate. But so this also is the same in anything. Having a plan, realizing that plan, if that plan fails, you can always shift gears, you can change, you can do something different, learn the lesson, but don't give up. That is the lesson in life, because there's no such thing as perfection. It is about learning lessons, not giving up, putting in the work. It's the same thing in relationships. People think that they're perfect friends, mothers, fathers, siblings, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, so they think that there's no work required. And when in fact, in order to have a healthy relationship, you have to be willing to put the work in. Work is required for everything in life. People do not share the same views. They do not have the same habits. They come from different walks of life, so they've been exposed to different things from you. So they're not going to be on the same page. You're not going to be on the same page with nobody all the time. That just does not exist. You're going to have moments where you're on the same page, and it's going to feel like, oh yeah, this is my person because we get along so well. You can get along, but you may not share the same views 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year. Nobody does. That's not even possible. And it is okay. It is okay that a person has different views from you. And because you are made differently, it is okay to have those differences. but learning to have grace for one another and then put in work. Saying that this relationship is important to me and there is no out. We are in this, we work at this every day. It's really what it's about, because there's no perfection, because there's no perfect person. You're not perfect. That person is not perfect. Ain't nobody gonna be perfect. And when you are in relationship with people in general, you are not going to always say things correctly. You're going to hurt one another's feelings, because we're more sensitive to the people that are closest to us than the people that are not. So there's always going to be a different expectation. There's always going to be different emotions, and there's always going to be different grace given. People are so quick to throw around, and I'm just going to say this for even marriage, because of all of the craziness that's going on with different people, celebrities, and people in general that are going through divorces at a higher rate. It is not necessarily that people, and I talk about relationships, I have talked about it quite often. It is not necessarily that marriage does not work. It takes more work for two people to become one than it does for a single person to move by themselves, because you're just accountable to yourself. But when you're accountable to another person, it just takes so much more work, so much more effort. But if that person is important enough to you, you're going to put in the work. You're going to put in the effort to make sure that that works. And people are so quick to throw around divorce because somebody is not perfect, when they themselves are not perfect. And it's okay. So you just have to put in the work. Then the other part is people are comparing themselves to relationships that they don't even know the ins and outs of, making comparison to relationships that happened back in the day. A lot of people will talk about, oh, you know, the woman was cooking, she was cleaning. She had to depend solely on her husband and could not get a job, okay? Grandmothers and great-grandmothers could not have a job back in the day. They weren't able to get homes by themselves. They weren't able to do anything. So the only thing that they could contribute was being a wife, cooking and cleaning, procreating with that man, and making that house a home. That's all that they could do. They could not own anything. That was unheard of. So a lot of the times, even if they had dreams, those things were suppressed. A lot of women dealt with a lot of oppression because they were looked at as sexual objects, or objects just for procreating, and not as human beings. And they were okay with that because that was the standard, that was the norm. Well, today that's not the standard or the norm. Women are able to go out, own our own homes, have our own places, drive our own cars. We have so much more that we can do on our own, and it makes it a little bit more of a challenge when it comes to relationships, because a place in a space where men were used to dominating and providing, women have taken over in that area. So a lot of times men don't even know what role they should be playing, and men should still be providing and doing the things. But I think that whatever works for your relationship is what you have to play around with, right? You have to talk this out and try to figure out what really works. Because if it is that woman is okay with going to work and being a breadwinner and whatever the case may be, then she could go out and do whatever. You have to do what's good for your relationship, not what the world is telling you that should be good. This is the perfect relationship. No, because it don't work like that. Every relationship has a different framework, and people should be talking about goals and different things like that. That's the other part. People don't talk about goals. They become bed buddies before they have a conversation about what are we doing, where are we going, and if you're not going nowhere, then why are y'all sleeping together? That part. So, but people are making so many comparisons, not realizing that other people's relationships are so dysfunctional. People are in dysfunction with their parents. They are in dysfunction with their spouse. They are dysfunctional with themselves. Whatever relationship you have with yourself is the relationship that you're going to have with other people. I said this before. But if you expect yourself to be perfect, you're not going to be perfect, but you can be better. and it's okay. Everything in life takes work. There is no perfection, and it is okay. Work on becoming the best version of yourself. Set yourself free from thinking that you have to be perfect, because what really is perfect? Show me a perfect person and I'll show you a flaw. Every single person has a flaw. Beyonce got them. She even made a song about it. Everybody has some type of a flaw. If it's their weight, their vision, their speech, the nose, somebody might have a big nose, a nose is too small, no boobs, no behind, big behind, jiggly, like, too big, too little, too tall, too short, you know, there are people that have physical imperfections with themselves. So nobody. You can always find something wrong with another human being, just like you can always find something wrong with yourself. But realize that if you have grace for yourself, and that's really what is necessary, you getting into a better relationship with yourself and realizing that it is okay for you not to be perfect. Remove the stigma that the world has told you that you have to be perfect. Remove the stigma that parents and teachers and all of these people that have brainwashed you throughout the years to tell you that you have to be perfect and you have to do things by their standards. No, you don't. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. You do not. You do what works for you. And if you are a person that walks with God, that's between you and God. That is your relationship between you and God. It You don't have to be what everybody else wants you to be. It is your journey. This life is your journey. So your happiness, your healthiness is up to you. And once you are healthy with yourself, mentally, physically, spiritually, then you will have those same healthy relationships with other people. Here, and I'm going to say this last thing because I am done. I just wanted to come on here and tell you to set yourself free from whatever this perfectionism standard is that does not exist. Because yes, you are perfect in God's sight. God did not make a mistake when He made you. But to nitpick yourself apart is problematic. And that's what people do to themselves. And then they turn around and do it to other people. Because the world has spent so much time nitpicking everybody apart that people cannot see that they are okay just the way they are. And you are. You are okay just the way you are. Now, if there's something that you say, hey, this is not healthy for me, I want to be better, then you have the ability to change that. But don't allow what other people's opinions of you affect your self-esteem, your self-worth, because you are worthy of love. You are worthy in life. You are worthy of getting the things that you desire. You are worthy. You do not have to be this perfect looking person, have the perfect hairline, all of this stuff. People are spending, let me just say this, people are spending so much money on vanity, it's not even funny. Like, they're spending money on eye correction and face correction and hairlines and all of this. What is it called? I forgot what it's called when they do the procedure and it brings the blood to the surface or whatever on your face. Is supposed to be some type of thing that's good for your face. Why are you doing all that? Why are you going to get your butt done? People are breaking their legs to make their legs longer. People are doing all types of stuff to achieve something that they will not achieve. You still not going to be happy all of them girls that went out, and I talked about this 2 years ago, all them girls who went out and got them BBLs, they still dealing with self-esteem issues. They still dealing with the same dudes that was breaking their hearts. They still dealing with the same issues because they didn't take the time to fix what was inside of them. They thought by going to get their butt done, getting their boobs done, or whatever the case may be, it was going to solve their problems, and they still got problems at the end of the day, if not more, because you done added a whole bill to that. It does not make sense. Be happy with the person that you are. So if that means that you have to get into some counseling, into some coaching, if you have to heal from the traumas and the different things that the world has placed on you to make you feel like there is something wrong with you, then you need to do that so you can love on yourself a little bit more, so that you can open your heart up a little bit more. You can have grace for yourself, and then you will learn to have grace for others, and you will actually start to see others in a different light, because you will realize, like, okay, I'm not perfect. I don't do everything perfect, and it's okay. So then when you encounter somebody else who might be going through something, you're not going to be like, ooh, why you doing all that? You would be like, oh, they must be going through something. Okay. And then you're not going to shun them, talk about them. It's so crazy. There was this guy that I was talking to, and he was talking about some situation with, different people that he had encountered. And in the first couple words, he pointed out all that was wrong with them. And I was like, what does that, and I stopped him. I was like, what does that have to do with you explaining this scenario? And he's like, well, I wanted to let you know, like, what was going on, like what they looked like. And I'm like, I don't care about that. Just get to the story. And so he pointed out every single flaw that he saw with these people. And I was just like, this is probably how he sees himself. Now, people who are therapists, coaches, are probably the ones that will think like this. But the fact that he led with that is what stuck out to me. Why are you leading with talking about people instead of just explaining whatever your scenario is? That's so unhealthy. But then it shows me that he probably has an unhealthy relationship with himself, because people have probably made him feel like there's something wrong with him. So he naturally points out what's wrong with other people, because the world has made him feel like there is also something wrong with him. So it's usually whatever whatever is going on in the inside of us is usually what comes out. But I came on here to say, to let go of that perfection, get yourself into some healing, set yourself free of all of the nonsense that the world has placed on you, and all of the things that the world tells you that you cannot have unless you do X, Y, and Z. All of these coaches and counselors, or whoever these people are, relationship gurus, that tell you got to look like this and that and do this and that, and you do this and that stuff don't work out. It's because there's no one size fits all for anything. There is no perfection. You just have to get yourself together. And when you get yourself together, you're going to attract the very thing that you want, because your mind is going to be healthier, your body's going to be healthier, your spirit's going to be healthier. So you're going to attract that very thing. But when you're in an unhealthy relationship, you're going to have unhealthy dynamics going on. So know that you're on your own journey. It's not going to look like anybody else's, and it's okay. It is okay. Just work on being the best version of you, loving on yourself a little bit more, having grace for yourself, and not giving up just because something does not work. Keep working at that thing. If it is a parent relationship that you have years of issues with, It's okay to set boundaries, but don't give up, because eventually, number one, probably that parent went through a lot of stuff that you know nothing about. So I'm gonna say have grace for that, because a lot of times parents don't tell you everything that they have been through. Just like you don't tell everything that you've been through to your parents. But having the grace to say my parents are human beings, they probably went through X, Y, and Z. Now that doesn't say allow toxic behaviors. It just says try to be understanding. And then, you know, see if you can have the conversations and have the healthy dialogue and things like that. But do not give up, because you can miss out on something wonderful because you gave up too soon. Don't miss out on anything wonderful in your relationship, in life, in general. Do not miss out on anything and the experiences that life have to offer, because they're not perfect to your standards. Just enjoy the journey and put in the work so that you can have a more enjoyable life. You got to put in the work. It's not going to come by you just hoping and wishing that something's going to happen. I'm going to say this: those relationships that a lot of people talk about from back in the day, and I've talked about the dysfunctional ones, but the ones that were functional in a way, they had some type of dysfunction, but they put in the work. They put in the work in order to see that through, and they married for 60 years, 50 years, for 70 years, because they decided to choose one another every day. The same thing with your goals and your dreams, making a choice and decision not to give up on those goals and dreams despite what other people might think about them. You make a decision every day to get up and to execute that thing. If it is something where you want to be healthier in your life, it's you making a decision to get up every day and make a healthy choice. Whether it is that you incorporate more greens into your diet, you decide that you want to go exercise, but everybody's journey is different. What works for somebody else may not work for you. So stop making a comparison. It's okay for you to be different. Ask God to help you along the way, and you are going to soar. But it is time for you to set yourself free from all of the false things that the world has told you, because you are an amazing person and you deserve to have an amazing life. So, with that, I am Tiana Michelle, empowerment coach, advocate, Down syndrome advocate, sibling, disability rights advocate, um, serial entrepreneur, and I have a mobile app, Empower Society. It is a directory of resources and services for individuals with Down syndrome and other abilities. If you are looking for coaching sessions, you can click the link in my bio and reach out. If you would like to come on a live and have a conversation about different topics, you can reach out to me. You can email me directly. So I will see you all next week. And remember to have grace for yourself. And it is okay to not be perfect by the world's standards, but have your own standards, because you are on your own journey. Bye.